Hey, what's up everyone, Soniboy here, and welcome back to another video, where today I did want to do something a little bit different from a usual Let's Play video, and that is because I want to talk about my top 10 most wanted characters in Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Now we do have some characters left. We have basically the entirety of the second DLC Season Pass, and also we have 3 more free DLC characters coming out soon, I believe. Do we get 6 more free characters or just 3? I actually don't remember. But regardless, this is just a simple top 10 list of the characters that I would love to see join this game. And yeah, fair warning, this is not a list of characters that I expect to join this game. This is a list of characters that I want to join this game. However, I do think that some of these make a lot of sense, and I could definitely see them being added realistically, and I'll explain why when I get to those characters. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So at my number 10 spot, I have Fang the Sniper, or I guess Fang the Weasel as he's called now. I think they stopped calling him Sniper. But yeah, I would actually really like to see Fang in this game. I'm kind of surprised that he wasn't in it. We don't really have any classic Sonic reps in this game, which is kind of weird. But no, I think that Fang would be a great character to add. He was pretty important in Sonic Superstars. They're kind of shaping it up for like Fang to be an actual reoccurring character again, but I guess he's not. But yeah, I don't know. I'd actually really like to see Fang join the game. I think he has some cool vehicle like potential. I think that his vehicle could look like his little like UFO thing from Sonic Triple Trouble and Sonic Superstars. And I don't know, maybe that, or he could like ride a bike or something. I think that would be pretty cool too, but I don't think they're gonna ever add a bike class of vehicle to the game. But yeah, that is my number 10 spot, Fang the Sniper. I would love to see him join. At my number 9 spot, I have Infinite from Sonic Forces, who is a pretty underrated character in my opinion. I know that a lot of people sing his praises. He is slowly becoming the next potential man, right next to Silver, but nah, Infinite does actually have mad potential just like Silver does, and I would love to see him join the series again. I don't know how he's supposed to like come back. I don't know, he wasn't really ever killed in Sonic Forces. I don't even remember his fate in that game. Like, nothing even happened to him. That game ended so abruptly and weirdly that I don't think they ever even tied up, like, his story at all. But we know what he looks like without his mask and stuff like that. We know more about him from the IDW comics and stuff, and I don't know, I think he's a great foe to Silver. He is basically like the Shadow to Silver, in my opinion. He's like a Shadow the Hedgehog for Silver. But I don't know, Infinite's really cool. I'd love to see the new dialogue they could add for him and stuff like that. I mean, he's a DLC character, so they're not going to add it, but still, potential, alright people, potential. It'd be really cool to see Infinite join. I know there's a lot of fans of Infinite out there, and while I don't like the game he's from, I do like him as a character, and I think he has a great design and some really cool aspects to him. At my number 8 spot, I have Axel and or BD Joe from Crazy Taxi. The new Crazy Taxi game just got announced. This seems very likely. These are characters from a game about driving cars, and I'm sure they'll be added to the Sonic racing game about driving cars, especially considering the fact that BD Joe was in both Sonic All-Stars racing games, and he was actually one of my favorite characters in those games. And I don't know, he fits the series very well. He's a great racer for a Sega-themed racing game. Also, I do think Axel is definitely a possibility. We never got him in any of the Sonic racing games, so I'm sure this could be his debut in this series. He was used as the frontman for the new trailer for the new Crazy Taxi game, World Tour, so I don't know. They actually didn't even show off what BD Joe looks like yet, but I'm pretty sure in the very, very early teaser trailer for that Crazy Taxi game, they actually did show gameplay of BD Joe. So I'm sure he'll be in the game, and I'm sure he will be a contender for a new Sonic racer, and I would prefer him to Axel. That's just me personally, though. He's always been my favorite Crazy Taxi racer. Or driver, I guess. They don't really race in that game. At my number 7 spot, we have Batman and or the Justice League, or really any DC characters. Now, a while back, there was a fake leak that said Batman would be the last DLC character for the first Season Pass of DLC, and I believed it, because around that time, we were just getting the announcements and stuff, and the releases of all the Sonic X DC merch, and stuff like that, and I think the first Sonic and Justice League crossover comic came out around that time as well, so it was a very believable, you know, leak. Even though it wasn't real, I definitely thought it would be real, and I don't know, I think that Batman fits perfectly, okay? He has the Batmobile. They'll have to make the Batmobile into like a smaller, like, kind of cart or something so that you can see him inside of it. He can't like be in the actual Batmobile, but it shouldn't be too hard to make a new, smaller Batmobile design for him. I'm sure they would do that. And I think that he would actually have a lot of sales. People would probably buy the game just for him. And I think that Batman and Sonic have kind of a very unique history together. They don't really have one, but I feel like there's a very big overlap of Batman and Sonic fans. I know me personally, I'm a Batman fan, and I know that Kabanarmani456 was also a Batman fan and a Sonic fan. And multiple other people that I know that are Sonic fans also love Batman, so I don't know, I feel like there's a big overlap there. So I would love to see Batman join Sonic Racing CrossWorlds or the Justice League, since it would have to be 2 characters probably. I don't know who they'd do. Maybe Batman and Robin, or like Batman and Superman or something like that. I think Superman would be the better pick for that. But still, regardless, I'd love to see the Justice League or Batman join this game in some form. At my number 6 spot, I have Banjo-Kazooie and or Master Chief. Now, I don't think that both of these characters would get released as DLC together, but I do think that both of them separately have pretty decent chances of making their way into the game. As some of you might know, Banjo-Kazooie was already in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing for the Xbox 360, and Master Chief is an Xbox character. Now, Sega and Xbox have actually worked very, very close together in the past, to the point of, like, Sega honestly being one of Xbox's, like, best, providers. They've always provided for Xbox, actually. Even as far back as the original Xbox. The first ever Xbox console was supposed to be backwards compatible with Sega Dreamcast games. However, that idea was scrapped because it would have costed too much to implement a GD-ROM format reader inside of the Xbox's disk drive, but it still was a cool idea, and Xbox is definitely thinking about it. Also, Jet Set Radio Future is an Xbox game that was always exclusive to Xbox. We got Sonic Free Riders, that was Xbox exclusive. The best version of Sonic Unleashed was Xbox. So yeah, they have a pretty tight history together, and I think that it's definitely possible for Microsoft characters to make their way into this game. Now, personally, I would actually really prefer to see Master Chief opposed to Banjo, but I do think Banjo would fit pretty well, and he would, I don't know, he makes a little bit more sense than Master Chief. We do have Campaign Evolved coming out soon, so that might, you know, contribute to either Banjo or Master Chief getting in, but yeah, I'd really like to see Master Chief. I don't know who the second character would be for him if he had his own DLC pack, but you can do a lot with him. You could give him a Warthog vehicle or something like that, maybe a Banshee or a Ghost or something. That might be a little bit too hard to translate, but maybe they could turn a Ghost into like an Extreme Gear or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know who his second racer would be if that was the DLC pack. Probably the Arbiter. I would like to see the Arbiter as well, but I don't know what he would really be able to drive. I guess the same Warthog that Master Chief would be in, but yeah. At my number 5 spot, I have Ryu and or any Street Fighter rep. So I would actually love to see Street Fighter make its way into an official Sonic crossover. I don't think that we've ever really gotten this. We technically did in Sonic Cross Mega Man Worlds Unite, but that was very, very brief, and I don't even think that Sonic and Ryu had any lines of dialogue together. Obviously, we already got Mega Man in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, so Sega is definitely allowed to use some Capcom licenses for this game, and I'm sure that the next one they want to use after Mega Man would be Street Fighter. Maybe Devil May Cry, but that's a little bit too off the Sonic spectrum, I'd say. Street Fighter fits in pretty well. There's some good potential with that. I don't think that we've ever seen Ryu in a racing game or anything like that, but yeah, I'd love to see Ryu or Ken, or Ryu and Chun-Li, or Ryu and Akuma, really any other Street Fighter character. But no, that'd be a really cool thing to see. At my number 4 spot, I have Son Goku from Dragon Ball Z, or I guess the greater Dragon Ball franchise. I think that this is very long overdue. Sonic and Dragon Ball have been borrowing from each other since Sonic's conception, basically, and yeah, I mean, obviously you got Super Sonic and the 7 Chaos Emeralds. That's a reference to the 7 Dragon Balls and Super Saiyan. And Ultra Instinct Goku, I have a theory at least, that Ultra Instinct Goku, or Mastered Ultra Instinct, was actually a reference to Hypersonic from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Now, Sonic definitely borrows more from Dragon Ball than Dragon Ball borrows from Sonic, but I think they have very close ties together, and there's a huge overlap in the fan bases. I'm pretty sure that like at least 60% of Sonic fans are also Dragon Ball fans, maybe even more than that. And for Dragon Ball, I'd have to say it's probably even more than 60% of Dragon Ball fans. But yeah, I don't know. Both series are very close together. I think that they should have crossed over a very long time ago, and for a DLC pack, this could sell incredibly well. And also, we could have Goku and maybe Gohan or Vegeta or someone like that. I don't really know who else would be there. Maybe Piccolo. I think Piccolo would be a good racer. And I don't know, he could have like Flying Nimbus as an extreme gear or something like that. I don't really know what other vehicle he could have besides Flying Nimbus, but I don't know. At my number 3 spot, I have Classic Sonic, and I'm very surprised that Classic Sonic is not in this game yet. I have a feeling that they're going to announce a new Classic Sonic game later this year, and once that game is announced, they'll probably announce Classic Sonic is joining Sonic Racing CrossWorlds as well, and I would love to see that. But yeah, I really am kind of surprised that he's not in the game already. They actually have a modern design for Classic Sonic's car that was included in the Sonic Racing game for iPad and stuff like that. So we do have a modern take on his Sonic Drift car and stuff like that. And I think that would fit really well in this game. And I don't know, Classic Sonic has been such a huge part of the franchise for well over 10 years now. And it's just kind of odd that he's not in this game already. I know that a lot of people do not like Classic Sonic and Modern Sonic coming together, but I'm personally a really big fan of when both of these characters meet each other, and I think he's perfect for a spin-off racing game like this. At my number 2 spot is Zero and or X from Mega Man X. Now, I know that they're probably not going to do a second Mega Man rep, but I would be very thrilled to see them add Zero to this game and or X. I'm pretty upset that the original Mega Man DLC wasn't Mega Man and Zero. Instead it was Mega Man and Proto Man, which makes sense that they choose 2 classic series characters together. And Proto Man is my favorite character in the series overall, but still I feel like Zero would have made more sense and also been a better pick. Zero is arguably as iconic as Rock is, and I think that he's a very cool character that a lot of people like and would love to see join this game. I don't know what they could do for a vehicle, but I'm sure they could think of something, and for X, I'm sure they could think of something as well. If there is a second Mega Man DLC pack, I would really love to see Zero and X make their way into the game. Maybe Zero and another classic character like Bass or somebody like that, because I don't really think we need 2 Mega Men like, you know, X and Rock, but and at my number 1 spot for my most wanted character in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, we have Ultraman, or I guess the Ultramen and women as a whole. I really do not care which version gets into this game. I would absolutely love to see any form of Ultraman join this game. They announced Godzilla and they announced Eva, which is kinda crazy. Evangelion is actually directly inspired by Ultraman, and it has tons of references to the Ultra series in it as well. The creator of that series, Hideki Anno, actually directed Shin Ultraman along with Shin Kamen Rider and Shin Godzilla, but more importantly, he is a very big fan of Ultraman, and Evangelion has a ton of references throughout it. Now I know that Evangelion and Godzilla have a much more international appeal than Ultraman does, but Ultraman is arguably one of, if not the very most important tokusatsu character in history. I don't mind which version gets into this game. I'm sure if they do add him, it will either be Ultraman Zero or the original, but personally, I would actually really love to see Tiga or Zero. Now, in an ideal world, I could have many more picks than Tiga or Zero, but yeah, I don't know. I think that a lot of other Ultraman characters have amazing designs and could work really well in this racing game. If you want to hear my actual picks for who I really want to see, then that would have to be Ultraman Rozo and also Ultraman Orb, but I think that the original Ultraman and also Ultraman Zero would work out pretty well. Zero is currently the most popular Ultraman in Japan, and he's also pretty cool. He's had some great series in the past, great movies and stuff like that. He is the son of Ultra 7, who is probably the most iconic Ultraman right behind the original. And for the original Ultraman, he's been seeing a little bit of a resurgence lately. I don't know, they tried to do Ultraman Rising, which was not a good movie, but he was in that, I guess. He's technically different, but not really. Same design almost, just a little bit worse. And I think that he would fit really well in this racing game. You know, all of the Ultras are actually able to shrink down to human size, so they could be racers, but they just tend to not really do that. You know what, I'd even settle for Ultraman being like a stage hazard. Like, we have Godzilla and City Escape, so I would not mind seeing Ultraman in another stage or something like that. Like maybe Speed Highway and Ultraman's in the background fighting a kaiju or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that about wraps up all of my characters that I would like to see join this game. Let me know in the comments down below, what characters do you want to see join Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, and who do you really hope is announced for the paid DLC or the free DLC coming up soon? Anyways, that about wraps this one up, and thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.